What's up, Wichita? It's Austin and Aaron show once again. What is this, episode 20?
23.
23? Michael Jordan's number.
Oh, yeah.
So this ought to be good.
Yeah, this ought to be
This ought to be real good. We have for you today award-winning artist Anthony Dozier. Dozier. And I've been saying it right all day, too, and then I slipped.
You sitting next to me? that bad name juju done rolled. I am the worst at names. That's why I'm like, you're introducing this one. This one's all you.
So yeah, Anthony Dozier has a studio here at Muse upstairs. Yeah. You got into a new room, actually.
Yes.
How are you liking the new room? Yeah.
Let's go to the next level. Let's go.
Yes, I feel you. Before we get too deep in with Anthony, man, I want to roll this graphic real quick.
Yeah, and real quick, before that, let's go with PK Pest, again, for advertising. We got this, let's have it spin in there, fly spray that we sell. We sell it to all the restaurants around town. We've sold it to George's and a couple of the bars, Whiskey Dick's and Rusty Nail and a few other places. We sell it for $35. And if you have a venue or a bar or at your house, you have a place where you deal with a lot of flies, I tell you that
you got
shit
some chickens in your backyard or something like that?
Flies are annoying, and this stuff is completely safe. You can use it in the kitchen. You can use it. It's sugar-based, so it doesn't have an attractant.
Does it taste good?
You can literally the guy who demos it. You know, when you have like new chemicals, the guy comes and demos it. Right. And the guy that did demo it sprayed it on his tongue. I was like, I'm glad you did it. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But like, I'll take your word for it.
It kills flies, but makes your breath fresh.
But yeah, so it's sugar based and it's safe, and we sell it for $35 a can to anybody who needs it. Well, I use it at my house on the trash can up front for when pool parties, you got all that pool shit, and it just brings tons of flies. So it's something we offer to venues and to private residents, because I don't got time to sit at your house and see where your flies are. You know where they're at. I show you how to use it. I show you how to apply it. It's a great aerosol and it works forever. So PK Pest Management for all your pest control needs. 316-305-7108. Roll that fucking graphic.
So that was all the shows?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not all the shows.
And we want to kind of shorter reach. I'm thinking about sending like just an email out to all the venues. Like, send us your fucking shows coming up so we can get that.
Yeah. Send us like a month worth of shows so that we can.
Yeah,
really
like, so if you're watching this and you work at a venue or play at a venue or
you're just a heavy drinker and you go to the venues a lot.
Yeah.
You know the guys.
Yeah, we're trying to work on picking up that info so we can.
How does Matt Brown know where every show is and he's at every show?
I figured could we like have him as a correspondent for the show? Like Matt
showing up.
Yeah, dude. Like
he'll just chew on a straw and giggle while we roll graphics.
Yeah, but I think he would be the guy to go to. Like, he's got all the. He would have all the fucking. He would have all the info on all the fucking shows, man. He really would. Because he will. It's not a show. I don't feel like if he doesn't come walking through the door eventually. But anyway, shout out to him. So anyway. Back to your place of stop. What do we got going on?
Anthony, you got an installation at the City Hall?
Yes, we were selected to display, and as part of a series that the city has started to introduce and display artists as they select them. And we were there first, and it's such a privilege and honor. And when I'm bubbling over on our men, it gives my soul joy and happiness every day, even despite the daily challenges that we face at one point or another. It is joy, and it is a childhood dream coming true that once upon a time we thought wouldn't come true, but we stayed at it, stayed true to it, and here we are.
Yeah.
And I have to say this: the Muse and this wonderful organization is more than a part of it. It makes you feel at home, freedoms. have a beautiful family here.
It does feel like a family, doesn't it?
It is a family.
Well, this family's proud to have you part of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
It's wonderful. So,
That's one thing.
as we say, onward and upward. Austin, there's onward and upward. And
That's
let's
right.
go.
I feel like we're just getting started in the podcast world.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure, man. We haven't been doing this a fucking year.
Yeah, 20-some episodes isn't really...
It isn't shit.
That's not really a whole
Yeah,
lot.
that's not
But I feel like we've developed quite a bit.
Yeah, well, we're having fun doing it. That's all I give a fuck about.
I saw them, whenever I have time. Oh, yeah. Oh, we tuned in and I laugh about it. My wife asked me, what you watching in there?
Two goofy ass dudes that can convince the people to film it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're just coming on the back of some really cool exhibitions. You was at Mary Jane Teal? No, Mary Coke.
No, Mark Arts.
Yeah.
Mark Arts over on 13th and Rock Road. Mary Coke's Gallery.
That's what I was trying to get out.
But,
There it is. You were like had both of them combined.
Yeah, did a thing.
we are currently in two of their galleries and two of their exhibitions. We won a spot in the National Abstract Exhibition. That is the whole entire 50, not just local. And again, a blessing, a privilege, and an honor, just the place. No, we didn't win any awards, but I remember the juror, the night of the reception and everything, how we had a wonderful conversation. He sort of gave me that look like, I think I missed one, but that's okay. It was just an honor to be chosen. And people will see our works now until the first week of October.
Wow.
Just walk in, whenever the hours are open.
And I will give a shout out to my dear and good friend at Mark Arts, Chloe Lang. Wonderful woman in the art world. I have to give her that.
Yeah.
And, Alicia Gritley, City Arts. And my sweetheart, Caitlin Waugh, City Arts. Three of the most wonderful women that I've met. They're really wonderful. And I cherish and I value their friendship. Oh my. So, here we go.
We do have some wonderful people in the arts community. Are you familiar with Anthony Joyner?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I did not mention his name.
No, it's cool.
So Anthony Joyner, he recognized the problem here locally that we just didn't have a lot of African American artists able to raise up into the spotlight and into the success area of their career, right? And so Anthony Joyner started the Mulberry Gallery over at Revolucia, the container, like the shipping container village. I mean, I don't even know, the place was crazy. But he has the Mulberry Gallery full of African American art and some kind of risque African American.
So like no boundaries.
art.
So no boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
No boundaries.
Push an envelope.
Yeah.
Push an envelope.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I know this to be true in music, that the kind of risque on the cusp, that's the stuff that gets the attention. You know what I mean? Like Marilyn Manson back in the day. Remember, like we'd all be talking about
Shock
Marilyn Manson.
shit. I mean,
and now he's making $1 million.
Madonna did the same shit
nothing.
too. So
Yeah.
And again, Aaron, Mr. Anthony Joyner is one that I sorely overlooked. I meant he's a blessing because he brings fresh new ideas, innovative ways to elevate the artist, and also his outstanding wife, Dominique Joyner, outstanding artist as well. I meant he's elevating us instead of, being shoved in a corner and, maybe a holiday or two, you show and present what we're doing. Anthony, Mr. Joyner, is elevating that. And again, I'm more than glad to be a part of that. And he knows he have my support 100%.
It's a killer community. I was going through his gallery, and there are just a lot of really cool pieces from a lot of names that I don't know of. But then again, that's part of the problem, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't heard of these names because they're not so prevalent in the whole art scene. And And I'll tell you, I don't really pay too much attention to the art scene at large. I'm more on the music side of it. But I see it and I'm interested in it.
I love it, but I don't know everything about it either. So I'd love to go look at a bunch of. I'd love to go to an art gallery. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I remember last year at this time, I think it was August the 8th of last year, the Wave had open mic, the rappers and singers, whatever. And the Wave invited us to present 6-7 pieces on the stage. Now, I went through some art classes and things like that. Art Inc. They taught us in this class that we need to speak up for ourselves. Your own publicity. And I'm humbled about this. I'm really humble about it. But they taught us that you have to take advantage of opportunities and get your name out there. So we were invited to the Wave, and I'll burn to the truth. The artwork in the backdrop, it seemed like it electrified the performers, and they even given props, to us, and which was wonderful. But it was a wonderful show at the Wave, and we hope that it may start something, because it's a great opportunity. And like you mentioned, Aaron, it's the arts. They complement each other, Austin.
It ought to be one family.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. I mean, if you've been out and about in Wichita lately, you're noticing that at least all the flyers and all the venues, each stuff that's here, even at Barleycorns and at other venues, they're having music artists play while someone does live art, and there's selling pieces that they've had. There's people there that's also just selling pieces, and then it's not always just live art. But
those I've been doing
that's really starting to fuse, and I really love to see that, because because it's cool to sit there and watch somebody design their art while someone's playing music. I mean, it fits together.
Yeah, Final Friday's kind of cemented that relationship a little bit locally.
I hope that's a national thing that's going on.
And I give the shout outs to powerful and up and coming, like a Chain Link, and again, City Arts, and Ruben Sanders. And this is the key: support. Support. Oftentimes these shows are open. There's usually free water, and sometimes there are receptions where there's food and things like that to break the ice, and sometimes even my dearest confidants and friends, even after this period of time, but I don't give up on them. They don't show up, but that's okay, because it's a growing, as you mentioned, it's taken off. So join be with us on the rise, so that we won't intentionally forget, but as we rise, some things may be forgotten. We'll try not to, but here we go.
Don't be left reactionary. Be on the cusp of cool things.
Yeah, I always like to be there at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to say, like, I knew that. It's gonna be cool.
Well,
thank you. I'm not gonna lie, I like being that guy.
Isn't it cool to like run out and just try something new?
Yeah.
Be like, I don't know about that. That sounds weird. I better go check it out.
Right.
Because weird, man. That should be Wichita's just like, let's be as weird as we can right now. We ain't got much else going
Weird Wichita does work a little.
Weird Wichita. Right?
It does work a little. Hashtag Weird Wichita. It's the thing we'll start.
We should start.
So, Anthony, like, it's for our viewers and for everybody that doesn't know you, explain your art. Like, what kind of art do you do? Like, what's your motivation?
You're wearing some of it.
Yeah. So kind of explain your stuff and how you go about your process and all that good stuff.
Okay. It is born from speech impediment from the 50s. There were, at least the teachers didn't practice what they knew, but there were no therapies and things like that. And I remember, sharp images in my mind of being often punished for not being able to say a simple simple 2 words, do you, used to take me 5 minutes. And the pressure, the ridicule from the peers, now that I'm being ousted really with the other stutters, I wasn't alone. And, you know, we just stayed with that. Even with life challenges as a child, you know, one thing or another. And, you know, I have to say this socially as well. Things were very tough back then. I'm from a broken family.
Did you grow up here in Wichita?
Yes.
So you're from here originally?
Mm-hmm. Was born in the 67214, 1125 North Spruce. And my grammar school was Ingalls School Elementary, which has now been raised, and Spate Magna School was there. Beautiful, beautiful learning institute, and I've met with their administrators. And if I may say, we have donated several pieces to Spate as well along the way, and it was an honor to give to them to get back to the school where you first attended to.
Yeah, back to your youth, back to your childhood.
And it is true to the saying, Aaron, you know, remember where you come from. Do your best. Do your part. Leave your mark. That's it. So, again, you know, it was more than a speech impediment from a broken family. In fact, here's some truth. I was the first to be bused 55 years ago. My generation was the first.
For desegregation of school busing? Yeah.
Yes. And my assignment was Truesdale and South High. And I cherish that. First, it was tough. But what helped Anthony is that my dad and my mom set my foundations spiritually. So when I look at my brothers and sisters of another culture, so that was, you know, that was easy, but, you know, things were quite challenging, but it was a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it, and I wouldn't change it, because it has helped me to be a better man and a better person, and know how to get along.
Yeah, probably developed a lot of patience.
So, again, I went through all that, you know, not being able to speak very well, but just stayed at it and stayed at it and stayed at it. But as a child, I would, when no one would listen to me, I would make one last appeal to them. And it would take a few minutes to say it, but I would say, and I'll imitate how I said it. Let me show you. And really, that's the way I went about life. Let me show you. Not just words, you know, especially words I couldn't speak and words I stayed away from because, you know, they found out at Johns Hopkins here about 5 years ago that children that stuttered are having seizures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So back in the
mild seizures, sort of?
Mild, yes.
Yeah.
But
so,
like fairly constantly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
they must have finally started testing people's brainwaves while that shit was going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, I won't use no colorful Portuguese, but I will not. You know me.
Yeah, no, I've made people slip before.
I had the seizure beat out of me. Physically. Paddling, sat in the corner. I almost was labeled a pee-pee boy because of the stammering and stuttering. Outcast, if I may say, among my culture. I'm going to say this. When I was bused, the other cultures didn't make fun. Oh yeah, there was a few. But not like I went through in my community. It was...
The neighborhood was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has to be terrible.
Yeah, the kids you grew up with, it was easy.
Well, the kids are supposed to have your back.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The 67214 was very rough. Let me say that, you know. But again, I was a brief time there, 14, this, that. Again, my brother and I, we were abandoned. And then when the house foreclosed, we were on the streets.
What age was that?
I was 15, my brother was 14.
That's not easy.
And we stayed with a love family for a while until our father came and got us. Like, you know, we were on the streets almost a calendar year. But we reported to school, starving to death, and we did the best we could to survive until things stopped. And stuttering and stammering all that time. And with all that pressure back then, I had to really concentrate and really try to get your words out, but still, you know, do you? But we stayed at it. But I would make things with my hands to convey my message. Case in point, back in the 60s, we all know what a reservoir is. But, you know, short word, a dam. Back in the 60s, you couldn't say the word damn. Everybody's parent plus your parents would have popped you in the mouth, washed your... But
community parenting.
You know, because if I would have said reservoir, it would have took me back then into eternity. But I do recall how I would see things when I would stutter real bad. Austin and Aaron. It seemed like things were going by. And I couldn't grasp it because it was going by so fast. Now, you know, when I hear, you know, look at things, dealings with people, this, that, whether it's information or words or the vocals, it comes across easy. You know, I understand everything you're saying. It also developed a very good reading habit too, since I couldn't talk because, you know, when I would read silently, if you didn't stutter in your mind,
you had all the words inside. Just
nice and fluid.
Yeah, I mean that's nice escape for someone that's having trouble giving them out to everybody else. That's a beautiful sentiment, actually.
So, you know, that was part of us. Again, through the travels and our experiences in our life, you know, we left it. But we never forgot that it was there, you know, but nothing extraordinary. You wasn't no Michelangelo or nothing like that, or Thomas Hart Benton or Jackson Pollock or nothing like that, but you know, it was there. It was after I finished my education at Newman University, a wonderful professor by the name of Mary Werner. She said something to me after the last class, and that was my graduating year. She said, "Anthony, I see something in you." And I said, "What's that, Professor?" She said, "Tony, you've been a tiger caged up too long. I'm opening up the door. You walk out and never look back." So, from that point, we started dabbling around this, that, started drawing some things out, you know, and my wife is my best critic. I ask her, you be hard, you. And in the early years, we gave away hundreds because it was what we loved to do. And to give to someone and, you know, that totally didn't expect anything at all. And to see that joy,
it's addictive.
Yes.
It's nice to give people gifts, man,
yes.
if you can.
You know, what was rather heartbreaking, Aaron, Austin, is like many years later we found I worked in Goodwills. And And when we give, I would say it's a ceremony, but it's really from the heart. You know, like,
when you get a piece from an artist, like, it's something special to me. I love when I get some shit like that.
Yeah, and there's times where there have been associates have said some very, I don't mean to go negative or anything, but have said some very harsh things that even in giving, people have found the way to even lie about it. When are you going to give me a painting? Well, when did I commit to you? I love to give, but when you stand on top of the stairs saying when?
And when you ask, it's more annoying. Let me do it.
But I think there's a thing there, okay? I think that the more you put yourself out there as an artist, or in my case, a musician, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's still creativeness.
Yes.
When you put yourself out there in a point to where you're like, no, I want this to be my living. I want to be known for this because this is what I love to do. And I can't really imagine doing anything else. When you put yourself out there so far, you are subject to it. Man, it's just simple law of averages. You was talking about hundreds of paintings that you gave out. It's just law of averages that some of those people aren't going to respect it. Some of those people, you know what I mean? And when I do my music, some of those people just aren't going to get what I'm doing and come back at me. That's how it is.
Austin said it right. It was addictive. Cheerful giver. I walk spiritually. I won't get preaching, but I do walk with the Lord. I have to share that because I'm not ashamed. But cheerfully give, addictive.
Oh, yeah.
There were salespeople came to our house, got contracts, and extracting money from my wife and I, and still here as you travel back home to Ohio or New York, because I appreciate your honesty and your good product but we may never see each other again. So now, that phase is, I would say, over. Yes, we still give, but very selective, because as you mentioned, you're out there and it takes notice.
You want to appreciate it too.
And when you're starting, you put yourself out there a little bit more. When you really start getting that love and reception back at you, then you're like, okay, so what I have is valuable. These people really, they're digging it. I don't have to be giving away everything for free. I can monetize this now. Maybe I can make a living with this. Maybe I can do what I want to do.
All the people that get the stuff for a good price early need to realize that price is going to eventually inflate, and be okay with still supporting the artist, and be okay with still supporting the artist when the CD's not free, when the paintings aren't free. When they go to $10 and $50 and hundreds of dollars, still support it.
So as a musician, that's what I find funny as hell. Is, hey man, I'm doing this show at the Orpheum. Oh man, can you put me on the list? Bro,
I can only put like 3.
Support me?
Can I put 4 people on the list, and it's an $8 show? Can you make it, please?
My mom and dad get on the list.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. And you know what's funny about my mom and dad is they usually would rather pay.
Yeah, see,
you know what I mean, because they support us.
Exactly.
And may I just interject? It just popped in my mind. We pay money for online, cable, that's entertainment, or whatever. How beautiful it is to support that artist on their rise. And they don't forget you. Or you buy that piece from that artist that's on the rise that now. And we've taken opportunity to let people know that we're giving away to and that appreciate it. Let them know the value of your piece just went up.
That thing you bought for $50 back in that's probably worth about $600-$700.
So it's been a beautiful journey. I want to share this in case it gets too lengthy here. Okay. Let me back up a little bit. We really took it through a phase. We gave it away. And really, I was gauging what people would say and their responses. And then we got our courage up. I believe my wife strongly encouraged me to go public, try to show at some gallery. So I talked with my friends that were creating and things like that. And they said, Anthony, start small, start real small. Find a riverside cafe. This is before the pandemic, everything was flowing and going back there. Coffee shops could be filled anytime. But Austin, Aaron, I said, no. Because what we have, I believe, is something special. And we prayed real hard and still pray today. Our first public appearance was at Wichita State University at the Looking Glass. I don't know what drew me up there. I think the construction of the new student center what really fascinated me, because I used to hang out there back in the 70s and things like that when I was a teenager, and now, some serious investments were going on at the university, and I just wandered up there and I saw what they were doing. So I inquired with some of the students that were standing around, how did you go about, to get in the gallery? And I was told back then there was a competition going on back then, and I attended Wichita State as well. I'm one of their alum as well. They said there was competition, where the competition was from all artists, where it was photographed, this, that, one thing or another. And if you applied, they reached in the hat and say, okay, this one won. But they didn't reach in the hat. They drew what you had or looked at a few images. But we were selected to display at the Looking Glass at the Cadman Gallery at Wichita State, right against Student Center. And that was, if I put a gauge on it, then like I do now, we would say something wonderful is about ready to happen. And not only did we get in 2016, but we had a 7 consecutive year run at the Looking Glass, Wichita State. And they don't just let anybody in. I mean, you must know how to talk to people, be supportive of other, instead of, here's my painting, put them on the wall.
You have to represent well.
Relationship.
Yeah.
Take a little time. Slow it down a little bit. And 7 consecutive years. The legendary Gordon Parks from Fort Hays, Kansas, didn't have a consecutive streak like that. I'm not bragging yet.
We can brag a little.
Oh. But
you can brag a little. It's worth it.
Reading a lot, being a stutterer, we're making history. Even in this podcast, we're making history. But that achievement, and my wife, sometimes slowed me down and said, Anthony. And Aaron and Austin, sometimes I have to pinch myself and say, is this really real? Because this truly is a childhood dream like. Aaron, you done seen it. Things have happened here. It's like, if I may say, I feel like that little boy just so full of excitement and joy. Like, instead of someone else, or those that stole your work and put their name on it, and claiming that they did it, the Lord has said, this is your time. And again, as I said in the beginning, being part of this great organization, and we're on the rise, couldn't be better. But we're going to work, and we're going to make it better.
It's hard work, man.
Yes, it is hard.
It's worth it, though.
Oh,
But it is. It is totally worth it, man. To see little Emily on stage on Monday nights open mic. She's mostly blind.
Oh, yeah.
But she's 8 years old and gets on that stage like an old pro. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Gibbs. You guys want to hear me sing? You know?
And she just sings a cappella by
She
herself?
sings. She was playing damn guitar the other day.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. But like, these are those moments that you're like, oh my God, this is totally why I do this. You know?
It makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
You can keep doing shit for that reason. Stuff usually works out a lot.
Well, do it.
Not always.
Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just do it for the right reasons. If you start doing it for like, you know, the fame and the fortune and all the things that,
or the accolades, even
the accolades, the pats on the back.
Yeah, like that's where more people get caught up in that shit than they get caught up in the fame and the fortune. Because the fame and the fortune's hard to fucking get.
And this is kind of why I'm saying, like, man, I have a million ideas. I have a million ideas every day. There's tons of ideas. If you can steal a couple of them and take them and run with them, just do that. I don't even care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
that's what I say. I say too much. I say too much shit. I can't copyright all this shit.
If you hear some idea that I had and you want to go ahead and steal it, you have my blessing. Because that's not from me, man. That's wherever that creative spark happened. You know, whatever happened there. Cool. You know, if I was able to channel that and that helps you out some way, man, just take that shit and run with it because I really don't care. Yeah. Just make it happen. Do it right, you know.
You know, you guys bring up again an interesting point. Like, you know, we rehearsed this, but we didn't rehearse this at all. About you know the right intent, and I'll share something with you all, and this is very close to the vest. I lost my mother to COVID-19. In its early stages.
So recently?
I would say 20 months. But one of her last lessons she taught Tony. And I listened to my mother closely. In fact, I listened to both of my parents even after they divorced, and you know, I would visit here and I always listen to them. But she understood her child. She knew what I loved to do, and she remembered those things when I stammered and stuttered. And I tried to make things when I was quiet in a corner trying to, you know, work it out. And I got to interject this. Up until the age of 17, I thought Rumpelstiltskin was a real person. I honestly thought if you worked hard enough, you could take straw and spin it into gold. But the gist of that lesson I learned is the God-given talent that you have, use it for His glory and His pleasure, and watch what happens. So, you know, with that said, going back to Mother's lesson, I call it her final lesson. She knew her son, and she knew I loved to do this. And from prior visits, I would say, me, me, me.
The ego.
She took me to the side in her house, and it was only us in her house. She took me to the side in her house and gave me the lesson. We literally crucified me and I. It slips up every now and then. But I have to say this, for me and us is more harmonious and it works better. And when we go about it that way, Austin, Aaron, the spotlight is finding us. We don't have to run it down. It's us.
It becomes a big web. Any piece of that web catches it.
And
it's all back to the network, you know what I mean?
And I'll say it. it helps me remember mother strong.
It's a good lesson for sure. Because the I don't ever work out for you. It really doesn't.
It's ego, man.
I mean, it just doesn't. You try to cut it just doesn't work out well.
You ever hear about Waldorf education? You know anything about Waldorf education?
I've heard the phrase.
I feel like I've heard the phrase.
So it's a Rudolf Steiner thing.
Mm.
All right. So anyway, Waldorf education. First couple of years. First couple of years in Waldorf education, they take the black crayon out your box because every kid uses that to draw the shape and then color it in. Right. In Waldorf education, there's no black line separating me from anything else. You know, we're not separate. So, yeah, they take the black crayon out of the box to kind of...
You take the lines out?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. It's the fastest growing private education system.
Kind of remove boundaries, sort of way.
Exactly.
That would help artists, too. That'd be kind of cool to, like, kind of just do the framework of the piece. I mean, I'm no artist whatsoever, but, like, to see the framework without you stenciling in the lines first would be kind of a cool way to go about it. And then you draw the lines in afterwards, maybe? I don't know.
If you need lines.
You know, you all bring up an interesting point. At one phase, as we were going into this, you know, we all run into economic hard times. Hard times in 69, 49, 20, whatever. And we wanted to keep going. You know, and at that particular time, we were getting maybe a little bit, not much anything, but just the love and the vibrancy was just out of control. I went to some organizations and asked their permission for thrown away materials. And we were able to take those materials and literally apply the muffled still skin effect to it. We found the paint was free. Everything was free. And we was able to keep on going until the resources trickled in.
Trickle's a good word.
Trickle. But, you know, and when they trickled in, whether a nickel, a dime, or a dollar,
you take it, though.
You appreciate it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And you make it stretch. So, you know, we incorporate that, and that's always there, especially when you establish a relationship with these companies like Sherwin-Williams in the area. Anthony, we have this about ready to throw away. You want it? I mean, sometime I'll touch. Lock supplies, heating and air conditioning. That's where I get the round pieces. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, the guy, Mike, behind the counter said, "Hey, Anthony, there's some real nice tomatoes, real good wood there over there." Okay, you know. So we have that. And the Sedgwick County Hazardous Waste, they always have paint. I love to work with them.
Oh, yeah, they got all this stuff they got to discard, and some of it's still pretty decent.
Yeah. I love the, I'm giving away a secret here. I love the,
it's fueling art, so these are good secrets.
I like, selecting the acrylic gloss. Ooh. In fact, the famous, American artist did the same thing to a certain degree, and that's Jackson Pollock.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's no boundaries. Just like in music, there's no boundaries.
Well, the only boundaries are the ones we put there.
Yeah, I mean, people come up with some cool shit these days, man.
Well, sure, this is an interesting piece of Wichita history and folklore, you know, with the art world. And I hope all the folks in the art world, especially those that are way up here or wherever you are, or even down here, you're looking at the former security guard that saved Mr. and Mrs. Otis. It's a permanent part of the Wichita Art Museum. A couple, very rotund, you know, George Washington looking with the fake wigs on. And she is, she's thick. But, they were created back in the 1800s, early 1800s. And on one Monday, you know, inspecting and giving damage report, Mr. Otis had pieces that were about ready to fall out. I saw one piece that was halfway out, was about ready to hit the ground. And I wrote a very scathing damage report to then director Mr. Howard E. Wooten of the Woodstock Art Museum, saying, if you don't get them off the walls now, you're going to lose Wichita's treasures.
So just from being up on the wall is the
just
problem?
being on the wall. And
they start to fall off the canvas.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I didn't even fucking thought of that.
And they're always hanging because it's, part of the permanent house collection, and they're always on display. Turned in that report Monday. Mr. Howard Whitney had him off on Tuesday.
Well, at least he listened.
Yes, he did. And that made me feel good. It really did. And now all the directors that have enjoyed it, where they can display it. In fact, just last Friday, I met the new director, Mrs. Ann Kirkenbill or Rottenbill. Wonderful person. And when we introduced our name, she said, I know who you are. That
feels good. Yeah.
Not only the damage report, but we've heard of your artwork. Men, if we're blessed to land any place in there in this life, my younger brother that was with me when we were abandoned, he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He always, I'm going to say, yakking his mouth about, I need to be in Atlanta, Georgia, I would sell this to, yeah.
Atlanta is cool.
Yes.
No, that's cool.
But I shared this with him, Austin and Aaron. I said, if we can't make it in Wichita, we can't make it in Atlanta. That's just me.
Fair enough.
Because we don't want just instant success. We want it to sustain itself, perpetuate itself.
Built on a foundation.
Yeah. So I let him know, let's make it here. And now, we're there. With the recognitions that we're getting. And again, I'm hammering the point. Being part of the Muse, I can see one day where, hey, special lights is hitting the building like limited seating, sorry.
I want to blacklight the whole building, man. Yeah. Paint that up like neon purple.
Yeah.
Blacklight that whole building up.
Hey. Yeah. Studio has a 5-10 year waiting list, but you can get on the list. Yeah. Before it's all over said and done, this is my prayer and hope.
So what do you got going on in the studio upstairs?
Oh.
But you kind of alluded to it earlier. So if I might interject here for a minute. So one of the things that I really appreciate about Anthony's art is that he is taking scraps left over, is junk to someone, is trash to someone, and you are making beautiful artwork out of it. Artwork that is getting these accolades that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
The city's responsive. Mm-hmm. Mary Coke responsive. On tour now in the nation. Mm-hmm. You're taking somebody's trash and you're making it brilliant. Mm-hmm. And you're making art out of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're up to currently, but I know that's kind of
there's a lot of like construction trash that's not trash. It's just like the leftover shit. Mm-hmm. Like there's just leftover stuff that they didn't need on that job, and it goes to waste for no reason. It's nice to see someone building art out of it.
And I kind of feel like it's transformation. Mm-hmm. It's transformation from you being a stuttering young man into the well-spoken artist I see in front of me. You know what I mean? that's a transformation. But I think
you put in a lot of hard work
art.
for that too. You can tell you have.
I think
when did you finally break down the stuttering barrier? At what age did you finally kind of find a way to calm the quickness going by?
It came in 2 phases. A dear friend, Mr. Joseph Ross Perez, he said to me, I always listen to Joe. He said, Anthony, slow down your thoughts because your mouth can't keep up. And I thought about it, again, I'm a thinker. And I thought about that phrase, slow down your thoughts. Years later, and we worked at it and we got better at it, a lot better, leaps and bounds. But it wasn't until the birth of my second daughter. She was born with a speech impediment. She was echolalic. So, I went to every session, every therapy with her. Not mama, daddy. I have to say that for us dads.
Yeah.
The daddy took his daughter to every session, and we benefited from it, Austin and Aaron. I sat in on every session. I listened to that valuable information, and it helped me with that last part of stammering and stuff.
And it was kind of nice. I'm sure it was nice for her to have someone there that kind of understood her struggle, and you there to support her. And when you have the experience of years of dealing with that, you can kind of fast track her learning process a little bit, give her knowledge that doesn't make her have to go through it as long. Probably. So how's that going? That's just how did your daughter's speech improve?
She's sort of like her dad. She can speak words very, very well. And, there was something, there that, that I will amplify on. I came from a broken home. My wife and I, we are together strong. And we raised our daughters well. We taught them sound things. Now, they can get out there and act foolish.
Everybody gets that foolish.
I never knew.
But your foundation's been set. And it's wonderful that my daughters are coming back to the foundations, because that lets a father and mother rest much more easy at night. You know what I'm saying? Because I love and I care for them.
How many daughters do you have?
2.
You have 2?
Would have been 3, but the first one didn't. Leslie didn't. My daughters, Leandra Tribeca and Brittany Marichelle. They're wonderful. I love them.
Is any of them or your wife artists of any kind, or are you the lone artist in the family?
I'm the Lone Ranger. But I get a lot of encouragement from them in different ways, It is always good. They look at me like, what were you thinking?
Well, and art goes in waves too. You go through this period where you're doing this, and you go through this period where you might be doing that. I saw a new picture from you. I saw that fire on the mountain, that Marshall Tucker man when you told me about. Yeah, so that's a different style. That's a different style than I've seen from you before.
And truly, I love that song. I grew up on that. There was a part of that song I always liked. It was just so brief. I guess Marshall just had that fiddle with. Again, speech impediment trains your ears to, when you can't, and you pull out. But I always liked that. I always found that a feel-good song, but it was a song of struggle, but you made it through it. And I'll say it for what it's worth. My music genre, oh gosh, A to Z. I don't stop nowhere. No. I'm not just a blues, rhythm blues. So no. There's too much good stuff out there.
And if you want to hear Anthony's music taste, you pop in here about 2:00 any given night. 2:00 in the
He's
morning.
up there jamming.
2:00 in the morning, mind you.
Well, that's the time when ain't nobody around. He can
Joe Walsh.
And now,
Walsh, local man. That's
and
local
now
man.
he changed rooms. He's in the room next door to where he was. And you got these new badass speakers.
Got
I
a
can hear
room, a little
everything
more
down here.
space,
I can hear everything down here in the hall. Like,
The acoustics
clear.
are better
Yeah.
because we have some of that 1925 old wooden floor.
It's really nice.
This building has a lot of those spots.
This building's really cool. I love this.
I'm gonna let
place.
you know. I even say me a dance floor. Oh yeah, I mean I get a good.
You up there cutting the rug, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Sometimes we'll have a piece of art, and we're creating it, dancing around it with the paints and everything. Just.
All right. So when we first moved into the building, we had tenants in here that ran a daycare therapy service, right? And so I remember getting calls. There's this crazy guy out underneath this tree. I don't know what he's doing. He's dancing around, and it was Anthony. And I had to tell these people, no, this guy rents here. He's cool. You need to lay off of it. But I'm sure you remember all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'd call the cops on him for just random stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it wasn't the best relationship ever, but
However,
we won.
it wasn't the best, but there was icing on the cake, and here it was. When we briefly had our works on the wall, and we had to take them down, the landlord said, Anthony, I'm going to protect you and your works. We took them down after they were up for like 3 months. That spring, all the harassment that went on then and that was going on at the present moment. I've seen images drawn out on the sidewalk with chalk by the children, and it was images they once saw.
So you got inspiration.
Yeah.
And I snapped the picture and I sent it to Bree Russell. I said, don't tell me we haven't influenced them in a positive way. I said, see, that dispels anything they say.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful. Austin, I mean, it wasn't just one, it stretched
Everywhere.
out.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is it was an autistic school that was here.
And the kids were great.
The kids
were awesome.
And it was a cool idea. There was supposed to be a caregiver per kid. So, I mean, I understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But what he's trying to say is, like, they pulled that art down and they didn't realize what it was doing.
And in fact, I offered little stars free art projects. And it was, I even had a COVID-proof
Plan.
Oh, I was taking those old 4-inch floppy disks that nobody uses anymore. Had a lot of them. Give one to each child. Say, cover it the way you want. I love them. And put it on a piece of wood that has been thrown away. Do the colors just perfect, where the colors all are in harmony.
Kind of fit them in a way. Yeah.
No. I said, okay. I still love you anyway, I bet.
And those are the kind of projects that we hope to encourage with Muse.
Why not? Would you help to encourage a bunch of kids that ain't got a lot of shit going on during all day anyway?
Well,
they're trapped in this building all day.
I'm saying for us, from our perspective, from the nonprofit angle, we have an amazing, recognized, local artist right here in the building.
Award-winning.
Yes, right here in the building, right?
Yeah, utilize that.
And he's willing
to help.
To teach kids, youth.
Yeah, a few now.
He's taking all 3 applicants 50 at a time. Bring your bad kids down.
Y'all must remember now. I
give him all hammer.
Well, that's why he's got that stick.
I'm gonna be personal with
too many of them.
I have a wife that is immobile, and I have to say that. And it's either at home, and then the few hours I get to have. That's the way it is, because I love her. In sickness and in health.
Yep.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. So when we come here, put on some Jimmy and let's sky up.
I've come in here before. We left that one night. After we had those 2 late podcasts. I was like, who is Jim? He's like, oh, it's Anthony upstairs. He's in.
Oh, come on up.
So how can we get a hold of all your stuff? How can we learn about?
How can people find you?
How can we push the public to buying your art? All that good stuff.
Oh, well, I'm just on Facebook. I understand there are there's some outstanding web designers here in the house.
Yes.
I was trying to go to this one young man, and I waited for him for about 3 years, and I said, it's just not going to work. And we need to get rolling now as it gets hotter. So I'm wanting to find someone here to get our web...
get your web page built and stuff,
yes.
So you can get your stuff out there?
Yes.
Great.
But everything...
We need that too, man. We need a fucking webpage too. You ain't the only one.
And you all opened up an interesting avenue. Everything that we have done, one handshake at a time.
That's it.
They're in my pocket. Don't. I knew I put you in there. One handshake at a time.
Oh, you got cards?
And passing out one card at a time.
Oh, 100%. I keep all of our guest cards, and if anybody asks for anything that's remotely in those areas, man, I can't wait to give them out.
And go back to having that handshake and having a conversation.
That's how I sell. That's how I've always sold everything. I mean, PK Piss Management, we don't advertise other than this podcast, so everything's done by handshake.
So,
that's the best way to go for it.
But you do have a Facebook.
Facebook. Oh, yes.
Anthony Dozier?
Anthony Dozier. Dozier.
And it'll be on the, and we'll put it on the website, or we'll put it on the
I'm going to explain something about the Dozier and the Dozier. In regions of France, it is pronounced different. Now, there's a famous baseball player, Kansas City Royals, Hunter Dozier.
Yeah.
Very good baseball player. Good for you, Hunter. But in the southern region, where the family that's in my family is Dozier, and this name dates back to the 12th century. Doziers were people that were good with their hands.
Imagine that.
That seems to apply.
And they were like one step under the nobles. In other words, they made a good living. And they were respected. No, they didn't have to have the high seat to have, a little strength or whatever, whatever came along back in the 12th century. I said, wow, that's interesting. So.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I think we've got to pretty much wrap it up. Please check out Anthony.
And you can check out a lot of his art around Muse when you're here.
Yeah, Dozier Gallery.
Yes, it is. It's awesome. So if you want to,
and even added you some pieces back there. Oh yeah.
So yeah, come to Muse. Check out the gallery. The Dozier Gallery. I like that. That sounds really good.
Dozier Gallery. I like it. And bring all you badass kids. He's doing daycare.
Give them all hammers.
I'm gonna change some words in that Asper and Simpson song. They said, "Don't cost you nothing." No, it's gonna cost you something.
It's going to cost you something for that.
Your time. I put like this. No, I don't expect the fame and the fortune, but we're willing to share part of ourselves, break off a part of ourselves. So it goes into the 21st and 22nd century. It's a bit of immortality.
That's cool.
I hear that. So check out the Aaron and Austin Show on YouTube. Give us a like and a subscribe.
Yep.
Give us money.
We need shares, man.
Yeah.
That's true. You see me squirming all episodes because
my butts are hurting on these stools.
Fine, man. And this is only the first one of today.
Seriously, though, if you do have a business, we're in the business of promoting your business.
Yeah.
And so...
and if you need art for your business, we got to cover.
Sponsor the show.
We know venues. We know everything. So get with us.
Yeah.
We can't wait to help out everybody.
I mean, well, come on. Get on board. Let's go.
All right. Well, hit us with that theme music and let's get on out so I can stand the fuck up. My back's done.